Dante's Divine Comedy, an introspective view of a religious Italian poet's descent into the 9 layers of hell. In this video, I'm going to simplify every chapter of this very complex poem with very complex drawings. But before we start, let me state that Dante's comedy is a very deep, metaphorical, and allegorical writing. In this video, I'll try to explain some of Dante's figurative language, but for the most part, it's just going to be a recap that will allow you to visualize the story and interpret it in your own meanings. If you haven't read the Divine Comedy, I highly suggest you do after you watch this video. The story starts out with our 35-year-old protagonist Dante trudging through a dark forest. As Dante looks ahead, he sees a bright light at the top of a hill. And this is no ordinary light. This light shines like the sun and beams with grace and divinity. Basically, it's God. So Dante, no hesitation, sprints up the hill. And he's moving so fast, it's almost like he's flying up this hill. As he makes his way up, separating him in the light appears 3 beasts, a leopard, a lion, and a she-wolf. Dante sees this and is like, nope, and immediately descends back down the hill, but the she-wolf chases after him. The she-wolf starts to gain on him, and Dante begins to think it's over for him until he sees a ghost of a man. He approaches the man. He's like, hey, this giant ghost wolf is trying to kill me for trying to reach God. Can you help me? And the ghost is like, yeah, I got you, bro. Except if you want to reach the top of the hill, you're going to have to go through hell and back, basically. And Dante looks back and he sees the wolf approaching and is like, whatever, dude, let's go. And so the both of them walk off and begin their adventure. By the way, this ghost's name is Virgil. Virgil and Dante begin their adventure, but something's off. Dante seems a little bit down, and Virgil notices and asks, what's up, dude? I don't know, man. It's just, I don't really know if I'm worthy to meet the divine or even travel to see him. I'm no Saint Peter. I'm no king. What makes me so special? Virgil thinks, and he's like, you want to know what I was doing before I met you? I was quite literally floating in hell before a woman more beautiful than anything I've ever laid my eyes on. Beatrice was her name. She called herself the Divine Love. She came all the way from heaven to ask me to bring you to her. At this point in the poem, Virgil explains that the only way Dante can actually traverse the final layers of hell and converse with the divine is if he walks the path with the spirit of divine love at the very end. Again, a lot of metaphors to take away here, but for simplicity's sake, let's just take it literally for now. Anyways, after hearing this, Dante goes, whoosh! You should have just said that from the jump. Let's rock. They take off. So Virgil casually brings Dante to the gates of hell, and as they pass through, Dante immediately hears and sees souls screaming in anguish. Naturally, Dante's like, what the f is that? And Virgil's like, those are the souls of the opportunists, or souls in life who neither were good or evil, but only lived for themselves. And then mixed in these souls are the angels who took no sides during Lucifer's rebellion. So technically these souls are in hell, but also not. Ironically, despite this classification, they're still eternally punished by being forced to chase around a white flag while being followed by hornets that sting them. So yeah, so much for not being in hell. Anyways, Dante and Virgil move past those souls to the first river of hell, Archon. This is where new souls wait for Charon, and if you don't know who Charon is, just imagine your classic ferryman who guides dead souls archetype. So Charon, he sees Virgil and Dante and he's like, y'all can't come in here. And Virgil's like, uh-huh. And Charon's like, fuck! My one weakness. And this whole interaction between the two scares Dante so much that he passes out. So Dante wakes up and finds himself standing in front of this funnel-shaped cave leading seemingly into the center of hell. It's kind of hard to imagine, but the book provides this 2D image. And if that doesn't help, here's a 3D version. Each circle or layer represents the punishment of one category of sin. Virgil looks at Dante and he's like, you ready to go into the first circle? And Dante's like, yeah, are you though? You look as pale as a ghost. And Virgil, as cool as an ice cube, hits Dante with the I'm not pale because I feel fear. I grow pale with pity for those that reside below us. Like, damn. Okay, Virgil, I see you. They walk in, and the first thing Dante realizes is this place doesn't look that bad. There's tons of green grass and plenty of people, but they don't look necessarily happy. As they walk in, our duo is approached by 4 more shade-like figures. They are the spirits of the great poets. They greet Virgil by saying welcome back, and welcome Dante as well. Dante is looking around, and Virgil's aura farming in the back like Piccolo when he says, "If you haven't picked it up yet, these are the souls of the sinless that lack grace. Those souls that either came before the mighty one," they're talking about Big J, they don't say his name in hell, "or those that died before embracing him." Dante continues to look around, and it starts to make sense. He sees Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Rick Sanchez. This place is the representation of where the highest form of human reason can take you in the afterlife. While beautiful, Dante thinks to himself, it's nothing in comparison to what he saw that day. Also, if you didn't pick it up from the context, this is where Virgil was residing before he was approached by Beatrice to retrieve Dante. Virgil lets Dante take in the scenery, and they head off. So Dante and Virgil enter the second circle, and it's here they meet with Minos, the judge of the damned. Dante describes Minos pretty eerily as this grinning and grotesque monster with a tail that coils as he delivers verdict to the souls he judges. Quick side note, I looked up a picture of this thing to draw it, and I couldn't get over how much of a Dark Soul boss it looked like. Like, just look at this thing. You can't tell me this is not the 3rd edition to the Godskin duo. Anyways, much like Charon, the Minos is like, y'all gotta turn back. And Virgil's like, nuh-uh. And Minos is like, understandable. Have a good day. And he lets him in. While walking through, Dante realizes this layer of hell is punishment for the souls who were consumed by lust. Their punishment is to be whipped around by wind for all of eternity. Also, I can't remember where, but I saw somewhere on the internet that said the punishment for lust was to be eternally blown, and I thought that was pretty funny. Anyways, here Dante sees familiar faces like Cleopatra, Paris, and Achilles. So Dante curiously asks 2 souls who seem to be bound together why they're here. They tell him, and the story's so sad that Dante passes out. So Dante wakes up and realizes he's in the 3rd circle of hell. Here is where in life the gluttons lie. Dante notices it's snowing, and as the snow hits the floor, it turns into kind of a disgusting like slush. He looks around and he sees Cerberus, and it's just gnawing and slashing away at the souls that were damned here. And Virgil, for almost no reason other than I think to show off, just picks up a handful of the shit snow and just 360 no-scopes Cerberus, knocking him the f*** out. This actually does allow the duo to walk past, but as they do, one of the spirits that was getting eaten by Cerberus recognizes Dante. He says his name is Sissio. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but he goes by the Hog also, and I see why. He asks if Dante remembers him, and Dante's like, nah. Then Dante's like, yo, are any of my boys down here, or did they go to heaven? And the Hog's like, nah, they're here, and they're even deeper than me. No diddy. Dante says bet, and walks off. Dante and Virgil reach a great edge that descends, and there they're met face to face with a new adversary. So Dante and Virgil come face to face with a crazy looking man chanting under his breath. This man is revealed to be Platus. He, seemingly like Charon, Minos, and Cerberus, is the gatekeeper of this layer of hell. To all the people that have been paying attention, you already know how this part goes. Platus looks at Dante and Virgil and goes, and Virgil goes, Dante and Virgil enter the 4th circle of hell. It is in here Dante sees 2 hordes of people pushing and pulling giant weights back and forth. Virgil explains that in this layer of hell, the souls who live their lives hoarding and wasting are eternally encumbered by the dead weight of mundanity. Dante asks, do you think my boys are down there? Virgil replies, if they are, their souls are far beyond recognition. It'll be pointless to even look. They proceed and find themselves at the Marsh of Styx, a murky black spring, the 5th circle, and last station of Upper Hell. In the distance, they see countless souls attacking one another. Virgil points out that these are the souls of the wrathful, and their punishment is to battle eternally, which is in clear display. Virgil also points out small bubbles coming from the murk underneath the battlefield. He says that below the murk lies the souls of the sullen, or in other words, those that didn't let God into their hearts in their life. Their punishment is to forever be buried under the waters of Styx, gargling the words of an endless chant that, in an eerie way, mirror those of a hymn. In the distance, Dante and Virgil see a flame revealing a large tower. Another glow responds to the other. It's Phlegyas, the boatman of Styx. and he's racing towards Dante and Virgil, thinking he spotted 2 new souls to torment. Once he sees it's just the 2 of them, he's like, oh, nah, y'all gotta turn around. And Virgil hits him with the... They hop on the boatman's boat and head towards the tower. As they're crossing, a wrathful soul rises out of the mud. His name is Filippo Argentini. Dante recognizes him and starts to get heated. See, it turns out this dude was Dante's op back in the physical realm. Now you gotta remember, these 2 are currently in a circle where anger and wrathfulness is punished. So as Dante's sitting there, looking at his op like Gon was looking at Pito as she healed Kite, the other wrathful spirits start to respond to this anger, and they start to attack Filipino Argentini. The boat speeds off as the spirits rip him to shreds. Dante approaches the flaming red tower of D's, and yes, that's actually how it's pronounced, but I'm way too childish, so I'm gonna call it by its other name. So Dante approaches the flaming tower of Pluto, aka the Roman counterpart of Hades, or the king of the underworld. As they approach the entrance, they're blocked by a giant iron gate guarded by a bunch of rebellious angels. If you remember before, we saw the angels that didn't take any sides during Lucifer's rebellion. These are the guys that were straight up like, fuck God. So you know what time it is. Virgil locks in, ignites the king engine, and that's when... Alright, look. I gotta be honest, if you made it this far, you probably want to know what's going to happen next, and I really want to tell you bad, but this video took me so long to make, like way longer than I thought it was going to take, and I kind of want to start working on other things, but I also want to get this out before I do that, so I'm going to stop it here. I just wanted to thank you for watching. If you liked it, please let me know in the comments, and I'll make another part. If not, that's fine. I'm probably gonna make another one anyways, but you know. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.